Alright, and welcome back for our second match with Mono Green Stompy. This hand is pretty insane, so we're going to keep. We're also on the play, so that's good. I have no idea what my opponent is playing. So we're going to go turn 1 Kieran Ranger, and we're going to pass turn. Oh, I guess I can't because of Kieran Ranger's ability. That's fair. Sure. Island Delver? Alright, Delver. So now we get to see if I can beat Delver or not. I'm going to just, I'm not going to put Rancor on the Kieran Ranger. My opponent might block. I'd be a little surprised if they did, but they might. No, they didn't. Okay. So, it's very likely that I should play around days here, but screw it. Alright, cool. Alright, and do that. And pass turn. And should be in decent shape. Hopefully my opponent does not raw dog flip. They did with a snap. That's awesome. Not good for me. I guess I do have Vines Vastwood, so that's not a big deal. Ooh, Ponder. So they might be only on one land. Oh, hello. So that would be good. They chose to shuffle, so they are only on one land. Maybe? No, looks like they played another one. Looks like my opponent is a pro. They have an all-foily deck. But they don't have a way to use Snap. So that's good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take 3, because I can't block anyway. Drawing another land there. Sucks. Really sucks. I'm going to put the Rancor on the Skargan Pitskulk because that is still the best option. You want to be able to get in as much damage as possible. If my opponent blocks the Kieran Ranger, I'm just going to let her die. I don't need her anymore. I'm not going to waste the Vines of Vastwood when I'd rather use it on a snap or something, or to kill my opponent. So that's just that. Alright, so we're going to take 3. Yep. Wish I had a Hunger of the Halapack there. I would have gladly done that instead of, and kept up Vines of Vastwood as 1, but not the world that I live in. Oh, it looks like my opponent was on the one land plan and maybe pondered into another land. How lucky. Alright, well, got another Burn Tree Emissary. Just going to run that out there. So I wonder if my opponent got greedy. And yes, they did. They got very, very greedy. So now they're going to take 10 and go to 3. Although, I guess, like, they're basically saying, well, if you have vines, you have vines, and if you don't, you don't. So they're at 3, and we're going to play this. They have shown me that they don't have days. And unfortunately, don't get to use the mana, so we're just going to F8 and see what happens. Alright, so yeah, drew Mutagenic Growth, so I pretty much have lethal with any creature. So they need a bounce spell for the Skargan Pitskulk, or else they can't do anything about it. Just gonna pass priority. There's no point. Another snap. Okay, well, I'm going to pump the guy that's not, because if my opponent has another bounce spell, they have another bounce spell, and if they don't, I win the game. Alright. So, in this matchup, you're already pretty good, but you're going to bring in the Scattershot Archers. I don't think you need Gutshot. Gutshot's really there for Standard Bearer, or I guess the Mirror if you want to try to kill a Kieran Ranger or a Volt Scourge or something. Speaking of which, Volt Scourge, not that great in this matchup because of all their flyers, so it's not really going to get in all that much. Epic Confrontation is decent. It's not amazing. Hunger of the Halapack is not great because of bounce spells, so I usually like to take one of that. And then I don't mind shaving a creature here because I'm bringing in 4 more creatures. And I think Nest Invader is probably the worst of them. Actually, I'm going to take out all the worst creatures because just remember this deals 1 damage to each creature with flying. So there's no point having the Volt Scourges in there. And I'll bring in the Viridian Longbow because the Longbow is pretty insane. So we're going to submit. Right back into it. I really hope that I'm actually recording sound. This hand is really not good. This hand does next to nothing. I mean, I have a Nettle Sentinel, and I have a Vines, and I have a Bone Splitter, that's true, but it's got 4 lands. So I'm going to mulligan this hand. I know it might be a bad idea. I got instantly punished. But this hand's pretty damn good. It's going to have a turn 1 Scattershot Archer, turn 2 Braintree Emissary into Young Wolf, so that's going to be good. Alright. I'm going to play the Scattershot Archer. You want to get that out there as quickly as possible, because this way Spellstar Sprite doesn't really do anything. And it's also pretty good because I drew this guy, so now next time I'll be able to go Emissary into Nettle Sentinel, be even more aggressive, if I so choose. I suppose my opponent could have a counterspell, but them using counterspell, my Braintree Emissary isn't really that big of a deal to me. Yeah, alright. And, I guess I can attack here. I mean, the worst they can do is play a, Fairy Miscreant, I think it's called. The 1/1, then when you play another copy of it, with the other copy and play, you draw a card. It's the worst that they could play. Alright. So, go ahead and play Nettle Sentinel. See what my opponent wants to do. See if they want to counter it with anything. And then we'll go ahead and play Young Wolf. Because we gotta get some pressure out there. Kieran Ranger, pretty important to a matchup like this, because, or just, well, pretty important in general, because you need to be able to untap the Nettle Sentinel. So do keep that one in mind. Opponent not playing anything, so they guaranteed have a Spellstar Sprite or 2 in their hand. So that might be good for me, have them a little bit under the gun. Drew another Forest, which is really not very good. So we're going to go ahead and attack for 3. And then not untap the Nettle Sentinel, making my opponent think I have 2 pump spells in hand. And then hopefully draw some spells for the rest of the game. Or else I'm going to be in some deep doo-doo. Alright. Definitely my opponent just drew that Ponder. Or I guarantee they would have pondered earlier. Wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if that was the case. Alright, they did not shuffle. But they're not playing anything. So, hold on. So what's probably happening is they have a Spire Golem in their hand that they are not able to play currently. And they want to play it next turn while they have counter magic up. I'm not going to use Mutagenic Growth just to untap this and attack. I don't find that to be a very good use of my mana. Oh no, maybe they have Fade Away in their hand. Another Vines. Okay, well I guess I'll pay 2 now, and I'm gonna pump the Young Wolf to untap and get in for 5. Since, alright. Unless my opponent wants to counter it. With what, I don't know. If my opponent plays a Spellstar Sprite, I'm just going to let it stay there. I guess my opponent could have, like, a couple of ninjas in hand as well. I guarantee they have at least 1 Spell Stutter. Oh, they're Echoing Truth. Okay. That's more than fine. That's interesting. So now I get to attack for 2. Go Young Wolf, untap my dude. And I guess they could use Counterspell on it. They do, alright. And I'll pass the turn. I currently do not have enough damage to actually win the game. Looks like my opponent just has counters and answers in hand. Epic Confrontation. Alright, well, attack for 2. I'm drawing all of my protection and removal. Not really drawing threats. For a deck that has 29 threats, I'm not drawing many. Oh, my opponent's finally just playing out Ninja. And I drew the Epic Confrontation. Jeez. Alright. And the Braintree Emissary. Okay, this is why Burnt Tree Emissary is so stupid in this deck. This is one of the reasons. And now I get to do that. And suddenly I win the game next turn. If I wanna try. Still not gonna use Scattershot Archer. Still just gonna leave it untapped. So now, yes, I could have been attacking this whole time, but as you see, my opponent would have then gotten a free ninjutsu off of the ninja. By doing this, they cannot go randomly Spellstar Sprite at the end of turn and kill me, so... Hunger of the Howl Pack. Okay, I think I'm just going to attack for 2 and then Hunger at the end of turn. Or see if my opponent plays like a Spellstar Sprite and then, you know, do all those shenanigans. Opponent could have another Echoing Truth, I suppose. Oh, okay, there's Spellstar Sprite. So I'm going to go ahead and... No, I guess I don't have to kill it. I can just let it block. I don't actually have to kill it. The reason why is because if I go to kill it, then my opponent could just take 2, play Spellstar Sprite at the end of turn, get a free ninjutsu, play a Spire Golem, do some stuff. This way, what I can do is I can go Hunger of the Howl Pack on my Nell Sentinel. There's no reason to go Hunger of the Howl Pack on Scattershot Archer. You want to do it on the creatures that you're going to attack with. Wow, another counterspell. Okay. So, next turn I do actually have lethal, and my opponent is down to 3 counterspells. So, as far as counter magic goes, the only real counter magic my opponent has that I can't deal with, they only have like 1, unless they're playing Logic Knot or Deprive. Okay. Third Vines is good. Go ahead and attack. Alright. I'm just going to go for the win. Since my opponent needs 3 answers, so... Oh, wow, they actually had the 4th counterspell. Alright, well, take 4 then. And I'll pass the turn. I don't know what else my opponent... I don't know what else my opponent could have. Another ninja. Okay, well, that should be the game, since I have 2 vines in my hand. And a bone splitter. Alright, well, I guess, I think I'd rather use the bone splitter than, use the other vines. No, I guess using vines there was better because if my opponent has Vapor Snag, I could have countered it. Yeah, if my opponent has Vapor Snag, it's better to counter it, but... Oh, well, we'll see. We will see if they actually have Vapor Snag. I'm just going to go for it. See if my opponent actually has Vapor Snag. If they do, they do. And I messed up. I suppose... Oh, they have Daze. Okay. Well, they're going to go to 2. And my guy's going to untap. And they're going to lose their ninja. And now I have 2 lethal creatures on the board with the Bone Splitter. But still, I still made a bad play. I should not have used the Bone Splitter there. I should have used the other vines. Although, in retrospect, I'm pretty happy I have the other vines now. So, we'll see how that goes for me, and we'll see what my opponent does with this Ponder. Oh, they chose to shuffle, so they're looking for something, but they replayed the land off of the Daze. So I don't have any information anymore. Fair Miscreant. Okay. That will die to the Scattershot Archer at the end of turn. How would this work? When it enters the battlefield, if you control another creature named Fair... Okay, so I think for the future, if he was to play a second Fairy Miscreant and I let it hit the battlefield, he would still draw the card, because it still saw a Fairy Miscreant in play. I don't know... I don't think it matters on End of Resolution, so... If anybody knows that ruling, I guess you could tell me, but... I'm gonna go ahead and use the Scattershot Archer to kill the dude. Burnt Tree Emissary, huh? Well, since my opponent has Daze in their deck, I'm going to just do this. And my opponent will need two things, which I'm pretty sure I just win the game now. Yeah. Alright, so you saw the power level of Stompy there. I mulled 5 in game 1, I still beat Delver. Game 2 did not have... Oh no, did I mulligan to 5 in game 2? I think I mulligan to 5 in game 2 and 1. But, now, my opponent there did not have a good draw. So I mulligan to 5, my opponent did not have a good draw. In game 1, my opponent had a pretty good draw for Delver, pretty typical draw. And, I still beat him. And now I'm not gonna lie. I'll be I will perfectly admit I'll be humble about it. I got a little bit lucky, but luck is part of magic, man. So, any changes I'll make to this deck? I think the only change I would make to this deck is -1 Nest Invader for +1 River Boa, which I'm gonna do now. I actually value the River Boa more than Nest Invader. I also value the Island Walk, and I value the regeneration more than most things. So. What's my verdict on this deck? Well, you already know my verdict on this deck. It's a great deck. It's probably the best deck in Pauper. You want to play it? Go play it. I highly guarantee that you over time will make some bank. You just have to learn the ins and outs of the deck. You're gonna have to learn how to play the deck correctly. I mean, there's really nothing more else to say. It's a great deck. Go play it. Burn Tree Emissary is insane. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out puremtgo.com. They have tons of great content, plenty of good writers. Most, if not pretty much all of them, are better than me. Check out mtgotraders.com. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one.